How you prepare for a golf tournament?
Well, I hit balls maybe 20 minutes, putt a little bit, smoke 4 or 5 cigarettes, drink 3 Diet Cokes, and go to the first tee. Some days I won't even go to the range.
Welcome in. It's Tuesday, August 13th, another edition of the Daily Puck Drop, the DPD. We do it every single day at 10 a.m. We drop brand new episodes wherever you're watching or listening to this. We appreciate it, as always, on all the platforms. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment. All of it helps on YouTube, on Apple, Spotify, wherever you take in the Daily Puck Drop here on Puck Sports and, of course, pucksports.com. Again, the Daily Puck Drop every day at 10 a.m. We are inside the Puck Sports studios, built by Limbeck Lumber, the Northwest premier source of specialized lumber and moldings, all around great guys. Mark, Matt, and Paul, go in and say hello to those fine folks there at Limbeck Lumber. You have any summer projects you want to get handled, right? Maybe a new deck, a fence. Let the folks there at Limbeck Lumber take care of you. Not only your do-it-yourselfers, but small contractors. Phone number 206-782-3487. Tell them Puck sent you. They're going to give you a massive discount with, maybe a couple bucks. Nah, they're going to take care of you, though. They really are. Limbeck Lumber. They've been doing it since 1930. They understand, quality of work and a good firm handshake. I mean, they still keep all of their receipts and everything, all of their orders by hand, which is remarkable. They don't even use a computer system. They're very old school. You can also visit them online at limbecklumber.com. And again, Puck Sports Studios, we appreciate them very much. Of course, built by Limbeck Lumber. Follow on all the socials, please. If you're not on X, Twitter, Instagram, at Puck 2040. What do you guys call it? Do you still call it Twitter or do you call it X? X just seems weird to say, so I just still say Twitter. But follow there at Puck 2040. You can also follow on TikTok at Puck_sports. On Facebook, just search Jason Puckett. We put all of our daily clips up on all those different platforms. The little, 30 to 60-second clips promoting the show. All right, coming up on today's Daily Puck Drop, the DPD, we're going to talk about Victor Robles, talk about that contract extension, something that we've been talking about for the last few weeks. When it started to come up on social media, whether or not that they would do it. They did it yesterday, a 2-year extension there for Victor Robles. We'll play some audio from Jim Duquette when we brought this up, I think a week or two ago, about, hey, if they did do something with him, what would it look like? And kind of similar to what Duquette said a few weeks ago. Little M's and Tigers, a quick preview. Some news and notes on Cal Raleigh. Something that Bill Kruger said yesterday, just when we were talking about Cal Raleigh, and as they turn their attention to maybe more, contracts coming up, he should be the next guy to get a contract. And again, none of us are preview to those conversations of how deep maybe those have gone. Does he really want to be here? I think he does, but I think he still wants to see a full commitment from ownership. We'll get into that here on today's Daily Puck Drop. Seahawks are flying out today, Tennessee, for those scrimmages or the joint practices with the Titans. We chatted about it a little bit yesterday with the go-to guy. I'm looking forward to a fight, and I'm really looking forward to a fight involving Jamal Adams with somebody. Fingers crossed it's with DK. Hopefully that DK doesn't get hurt. But they'll do the joint practices Wednesday, Thursday, and then their preseason game coming up on Saturday. A thought or two on Connor Williams, and I'm just curious, when is Connor Williams going to be ready to play? He has done nothing, since tearing his ACL, but we'll touch a little bit on Connor Williams. If you missed our announcement yesterday about Jake Dickert, we'll touch on that as well, and also fine folks there, Rick and Kim Wood at the Crimson House. I want to touch on that one more time. Your a note or two on this guy was on the Washington Sports Wrap show, which they do nightly on Q13, Fox 13, I should say. Alyssa Charleston was the host last night. Thank you to her. We'll have a thought or two on the show. We didn't get to this on Monday's show about Team USA, but I do want to touch base really on the basketball, which was just phenomenal in the Olympics. And news on the Daily Puck Drop, which will be changing coming up with the start of football season. And, of course, we wrap up every Daily Puck Drop with Hey, What the Puck, brought to you by Restoration One. All right, let's jump into the Victor Robles extension. Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm glad they did it. He's grown on me. I think he's an infectious baseball player. He brings in an amazing amount of energy to the baseball team. I think the other guys feed off it. It's just phenomenal what he's been able to do, and he's been great since coming here. He's gotten better in the outfield after the first few weeks when he was playing regularly, especially in the corners where he wasn't good and he was making some mistakes. But in center, he's gotten better and better. His hitting has been great. He gets on base, and then once he gets on base, he causes problems. He's just, I'm 48, right? So if you're my age, right, he's like what a leadoff hitter is supposed to be. Gets on base and then causes, steals second, swipes third, just is a problem out there. He brings just a great joy to the sport. And I think sometimes that gets lost with a lot of guys. I think in any sport, but he plays it like a kid. And so does Julio. I think a Rosarina to a degree, and everyone just has to play the way that's best for them, right? That's not like for Cal, but for him it is. And I think, and he's talked about it, there's been great joy for him since leaving Washington. There was a lot of expectations on him with Washington. If you don't know the story with him, he was a highly, highly touted prospect. In fact, some publications, or actually most publications, had him ranked higher than Juan Soto. He was the starting center fielder on the team that won the World Series, but then he just didn't materialize into the superstar that everyone thought he was going to be. Happens all the time. We see it all the time in sports. But he's got a second chance on a career. He's still relatively young. And yesterday, the Mariners rewarded him with an extension, 2 years, $9.7 million. He's got a club option for the next season at 27. He's got incentives also in the deal. Got a signing bonus of $1.2 million. When I asked Jim Duquette about this, I think we did it a few weeks ago, what would it cost? What would you, if you wanted to entertain it? And at that point, when we talked about this, I think we both agreed, hey, let's pump the brakes a little bit on this. We can wait till the end of the season, in which I thought they would wait until the end of the season. And I thought probably it would be a mistake if they did it before then. I'm happy to be wrong. I think maybe it's just the Sunday Night Baseball thing, but he's grown on me. He's really has turned in to one of the best, well, not the best player on the team, but one of the best players to watch on the team. But when I asked Duquette about what it would cost, this was Jim's response about a week and a half ago on what it would cost Victor Robles.
If you were to go to him and guarantee him a salary, right? Let's say it was $5.5 million, 1 year deal. Because here's the thing. You could try to, you don't really want to give him a multi-year contract because he might go back to old Victor Robles, right? His old Victor Robles as a major leaguer, his career stats are 242, 316, 364. There's no bad 1 year deal out there, in my opinion. But if you doubled his salary, say we'll give you $5.5 million, and worst case scenario, he goes back to his old ways and he plays really good defense, it would be worth it there, and you maybe give him some incentives.
And you look at the deal and what they gave Victor Robles. I mean, it's not a 1 year deal; it's a 2 year deal. But think about it, 2 years, $9.7 million. I mean, this is an amazingly great bargain for them if he turns out to be what he is now. And if he's not, what did it cost you? It cost you $9 million. It cost you $10 million. Now, for an organization that doesn't spend a lot, maybe they'll be like, well, we can't do anything now. But this is a smart deal for the Mariners. It really is. It's a smart deal what they did with him. And I do believe it's a smart deal for Robles. I mean, I can hear people saying, God, why didn't he just wait till the end of the year and then do something? I don't. I mean, he elected to take the money now. I mean, $10 million is $10 million. Okay. I mean, for him and his family situation, I mean, ultimately that's life. That can be life-changing money. And if it doesn't work out for him in the rest of his career, he could go, I'm good. I managed that. I'm fine the rest of my life. But if it does, if he does turn into maybe perhaps the prospect that people think he can be, then my God, you got him on a steal. M's and Tigers today. George Kirby against Tarek Skubal, so a rematch of what we had last week. This is going to be an interesting series because of what Mitch, Jim brought this up last week because of what Mitch Haniger said, last week when they beat him in that game 3, just said, hey, man, we're a better team than them. And I don't think it's a huge gap between the Tigers and Mariners. It's not a massive gap. I mean, clearly the Mariners have better pitching staff overall, but I think the Tigers are going to take that. They're going to take great offense to it. I think the next 3 days can be interesting to see how they kind of react to that situation. But Skubal and Kirby tonight. Brian will go tomorrow, and then it's going to be a Bryce Miller there in the wrap-up. Over-under tonight is 7.5. The Bet M's Summer Under Tour continues. 38, 43, and 2. You know the drill. Take the under 7.5 tonight. Kirby and Skubal. Usually these things now, when you think you're going to get a great pitching matchup, you don't get a great pitching matchup. But I think we will. We will. And then it's on to Pittsburgh, and we've talked about this a little bit last week. You get Paul Skeens and Logan Gilbert. There'll be the pitching matchup there on Friday. All right, so Cal Raleigh. Who doesn't love Cal Raleigh? Everybody loves Cal Raleigh. And so I was talking to Bill Kruger yesterday about this, and the discussion came up was, hey, what do you want to do with Cal Raleigh? Is this going to be the next guy that they can sign? And I think we've all wanted the Mariners to reach, well, maybe not all. I mean, I do. I want the Mariners to sign Cal Raleigh to an extension desperately. There was that picture, I think, a while ago that surfaced where it was Dipoto and Scott Boras, I think, sitting down in Modesto. And I'm like, God, please say they're talking about a Cal Raleigh extension. And nothing's come to fruition as of yet for him. And you look at Cal's age. I want to just double check. I want to make sure that I got it because he's 27 or 28 right now. But for Cal, when you look at currently, his situation, he's got 3 more years that he is arbitration eligible. So he's not going to be a free agent, until he's 31 in 2028. But, he's, again, arbitration next year, 26 and in 27. He's 27 years of age, making the minimum at $800,000. You look at what he has accomplished. I mean, right now you can make an argument, and I think you can back it up, and it's a pretty damn good argument, that right now he's the best catcher in baseball. He's playing the best. If you take out one stat is his batting average. But you look everything else that Cal Raleigh is doing right now, from an offensive standpoint and a defensive standpoint, he ranks as the top overall catcher in baseball. And what is that worth? Will Smith signed a 10-year deal at 28 years old, so roughly the same age as Cal Raleigh. 10 years, $140 million. JT Realmuto signed a 5-year deal for, I believe it was 115. I want to make sure, I'm going to go back and look and to see, give me a second, when he signed that deal, because I think he was around the same age, 27, 28 years old, when Realmuto signed that contract, because that's the ballpark. Excuse me. That's what it's going to cost. Realmuto was 29 years of age when he signed that deal. 5 years, $115 million. So he's right there. That same time frame right now that Cal is in. And you look at Cal's stats. I mean, number one WAR right now, 3.6 in baseball. He's fifth in WRC plus, fourth in baseball in slug. Leads catchers. These are all catcher stats, by the way. Duh. Leads all catchers in home runs, 26. Number two in RBIs at 76. I got something stuck in my throat. It's like I'm smoking again, for God's sakes. The batting average is terrible, but he's always had a bad batting average. He's 217. His defense efficiency ratings by Fangraphs, number two in baseball defensively. His defensive runs saved, number two in baseball, behind, I believe, the cat from the Giants, Bailey. Second most games started at catcher and innings, behind Logan O'Hoppe. So he's there. He's available. He's playing again. He's playing every day, really, because he DHs when he doesn't catch. In terms of pitch framing, this coming from the Mariners PR staff, number one in the American League. He leads Major League Baseball in caught stealing. If he does it again this year, because he led it last year, if he leads that category again, he will become the first catcher to go back-to-back seasons leading that category since 1982 and 1983. Oh, by the way, you know who did that? Gary Carter. You know where Gary Carter is? He's in the Hall of Fame. So I'm telling you, he's playing the best. He's the best catcher right now in baseball. Statistically, everything. When you put offensive numbers, defensive numbers, all in the pot, he is. And what's that value? $140 million. I mean, it's going to be north of 100. And I mean, maybe they've gone to him already. Maybe they've gone to him and have asked him, hey, man, what do you want? Maybe they presented something to him. Perhaps Boris has seen it and said it's not enough. It's an ongoing negotiation. Maybe Boris doesn't want him to even flinch and sign it. I don't know why he wouldn't. I mean, if you do a smaller deal now at his age, you know, could you turn around and double dip again at 32 and 33 for another deal? And just lock up some security. I mean, he's in the next 3 years, he goes to arbitration, he's going to get paid. He's going to get paid a lot of money. And then he can hit free agency at 31. But before that, he can sign a nice deal. If I'm the Mariners right now, I look at Will Smith at 110 years, 140. Easy. I mean, that's just an easy deal for me. He's not the best player on the team. We've talked about that with Divish, I think with Brad Adam. We'll bring it up with Brad again today because it's a Tuesday visit with Brad. But he is the most important player on that team. Absolutely the most important player. And they need to lock him up soon. And the one thing that Kruger and I talked about yesterday, which I believe is probably where we're at right now. He has been outspoken about the organization. He's been outspoken about the front office. He wants a commitment from the front office because I do believe the money's important to him. Financial security is important to him. It's important to all of us. But I think what's number one for Cal Raleigh is he wants to win. Wants to win bad. And he wants to make sure that the ownership, front office is committed to that winning because he doesn't want to sit there and lose. He busts his ass every day to try and win. And I think that's all he really cares about is winning. What can we do to put the best product out there on the field? He's outspoken after the end of last season at trade deadlines when they're trading guys away. You know, this year, I think he talked about it here recently. The moves they made at the deadline gave him a shot in the arm. It sent a message to the clubhouse. So that's a good first step. But if the Mariners front office and ownership is not careful, man, and you don't keep adding and you don't keep committing to winning long term, you're going to lose this guy. You're going to lose this guy because he's not going to sign here. And I just don't, Would love to know what Boris feels about it. I mean, I think Boris, if he gets a competitive deal, we'll let him stay in Seattle. I know ultimately it's Raleigh's decision, but Scott Boris has a huge influence over all of his clients. But to me, is in the next year or whatever it is, they've got to lock this guy up. I just love watching Cal Raleigh play. He's a gamer. He comes through in big moments. He's a team leader. He's exactly what you want in a catcher. I don't get caught up in the batting. He's the one guy I don't really care about with the batting average, because all the other numbers, all the other metrics, offensively and defensively, by the way, are absolutely elite. So get it done, Jerry and Justin. Actually, I think those guys want to get it done. Stanton, get it done. Come on. Hatback's pulling in money. Take the money from Hatback and pay Raleigh. You got hot dogs. Start charging people for the hot dogs, dropping from heaven. Put like a, $5 in for every hot dog that comes down. All right, switch over quickly to the Seahawks. We mentioned this before. Seahawks are going to be in Tennessee this week. They're going to get on a plane today, fly to Nashville, do some joint practices with the Titans on Wednesday, Thursday, and then scrimmage on Saturday. Who is Jamal Adams going to try and fight this week? And do you think Jamal Adams is going to get into a fight? I do. I mean, come on. Jamal Adams wants to stick it to his former team. Jamal Adams wants to come. Of course he's going to be hot, man. Jamal Adams is going to be getting after it. And I'm all for it. I can't wait for this whole thing to happen, because I think Jamal Adams is going to be red ass, man. Guaranteed. Is going to be red ass, I think, for this little joint practice that's going to be coming up. I really do believe that. And I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I am looking forward to how he is going to react, I think, in that joint practice that's going to be coming up this week. My money's on DK. I'd love to see DK go after him. That would be fabulous. Who else would I like to see? What other wide receiver? Let's see. Not really, just DK. I think DK is the number one guy, right? I can't think of anybody else that you would like to see besides DK. One of the running backs. It's got to be Metcalf. DK is the number one target, right? He's got to be like the number one target to go and like flip out and just like rip him apart. Maybe Diggs gets involved a little bit, but I'm sure Jamal Adams is going to be a little chippy, I think, during that joint practice coming up this week. I'm here for it. I can't wait to watch it. Over to Connor Williams. I don't know. Is Connor Williams going to be ready? He went out there and watched practice the other day. He stood on the side to watch practice. He's had no football-related activities. I guess they called that a football-related activity by just putting on a jersey and walking on the sidelines since tearing his ACL on December 11th. McDonald said they are shooting for either the Cleveland week, which is after Tennessee, which is the last preseason game, or after that week to get him out here and practicing for real. He says he feels great, 95% right now, coming off that torn ACL on his left knee. He tore his right knee, which I guess I knew, but didn't know how to remind myself of that. Tore his right knee when he was at the University of Texas. I don't know. I just kind of feel like he might not be ready for the Denver game. I don't know why I'm looking at this glass half empty right now. I just have a bad feeling with Connor Williams, and it's just me, and it's my problem, and I'm not bashing on the Connor Williams signing. I love the Connor Williams signing. It's great. It didn't cost you anything. It cost you, we talked about Victor Robles. What did it cost you? $3 million guaranteed? I feel like we've been cursed since the Unger trade, and this one, we're just going to get cursed again. I just have a bad feeling that Connor Williams is not really ever going to be healthy, and we're never going to see him, or we do, and he's not going to be quite right, and then he's going to come back for a game or two, and then he's going to miss some practice, and he's going to miss a game because of his knee. God, I hope I'm wrong. And it's miserable to watch sports through my lenses. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm always expecting the worst to happen. It's terrible. But there's just that, it's a major surgery. And it's not too long ago that he tore it. And he's made a remarkable comeback from it. But the fact that he hasn't done anything at all, I mean, I know he can watch the plays and study on the playbook, but there's something to be said when you're an offensive lineman to get out there and, run through it with the guys in the trenches, and something that he just hasn't been able to do. So I don't know. We shall see whether or not he will be ready to go. But I don't know. I just, for some reason, I don't feel confident in him being ready. God, I hope I'm wrong. In case you missed it yesterday, we made the announcement, Jim Moore. Jake Dickert's going to be joining Puck Sports, our show, throughout the college football season. Jake's going to make, and his coaches are going to be making regular appearances every single week here on all the platforms. Jake himself is going to make 5 different appearances throughout the college football season. Again, I want to thank the Cougar Collective, Luke and the fine folks there over at the Cougar Collective NIL. And also, I couldn't mention it yesterday, but I just needed to get confirmation. Also, Flat Stick Pub. So Flat Stick Pub and the Cougar Collective are going to bring you the Cougs Corner every week, which will feature Jake Dickert and coaches and players every single week here on all the different platforms. Jake, as I mentioned before, 5 different visits, one before the season. We'll do another visit during Apple Cup week, which is going to be weird in the beginning of the season. He'll during both bye weeks, he'll come on the show, and then at the end of the season, he'll come back on. And these aren't just 10, 15-minute interviews. These will be 30-plus minute sit-downs with Jake Dickert, brought to you by the Cougar Collective and Flat Stick Pub. Can't thank Luke at the Cougar Collective enough, and also Andy. Andy, by the way, and Luke, but Andy has been. Let me gush about Andy Largent here for a quick second. He's been such a huge supporter of this new endeavor, and was a huge supporter back in the radio days as well, and it's just carried over to this. So big thanks to Andy and Flat Stick Pub. Andy used to play at Washington State. Flat Stick Pub locations all over the place. But the Cougar Collective and Flat Stick Pub will bring you the Cougs Corner every week, featuring Jake Dickert and other assistant coaches. You'll hear from Arbuckle and Schmedding on those guys, who's the defensive coordinator. Want to thank Jake a lot for agreeing to do this. That's a big commitment to come on 5 different times for a long form interview at 30 plus minutes. So it's not lost on me, the commitment that he is making. Also another shout out to the longtime and great sports information director, Bill Stevens, for making it happen. And also, we mentioned this yesterday, but it bears worth mentioning again. Speaking of the Cougar Collective, Rick and Kim Wood, who are a part of the collective, they've got a brand new bed and breakfast, the Crimson House, which is in Pullman. If you are a grad, or if you're a Cougar fan, if you are a Vandal fan, or let's say you are just driving through Pullman on the way to another destination and need a place to stay, and you don't want to stay in a hotel and get charged $500, and you get no amenities of home. Stay at the Crimson House Bed and Breakfast. Rick and Kim Wood, they rent out the bottom of their just beautiful home that sits atop Sunnyside Hill in Pullman, which has great views of downtown. It's gorgeous. They call their basement the Lair. It's all Cougar and Washington State, like university themed. It's great. The bedrooms are named after the dorms. There's just memorabilia up everywhere. There's huge TV. There's, they can fit probably 8 people. There's 2 bedrooms. One bedroom's got a king and then a smaller bed, single bed, and then the other bedroom's got a queen. The pull out in the living room is a king size. It's great. And it is wonderful. Go book now. WSUCrimsonHouse.com. Again, WSUCrimsonhouse.com. We shot video of it. My daughter and I, we stayed there this past weekend. It's up at pucksports.com. I just wanted to mention that one more time there for Kim and Rick Wood. They were just very nice for us to stay there. Beautiful. Got a small little kitchen, bathroom, all set up for you, a microwave, toaster. They got a barbecue outside. They got a fire pit outside. Just, it's a great place to stay. Want to touch on this one real quick. We didn't get to it on Monday. The men winning the U.S., the gold medal in basketball. I just want to say it was such high-level basketball that those guys played. And I just we don't acknowledge these guys enough. I think sometimes we throw around too much that basketball players nowadays are divas and they're all about themselves and all about the money. I thought it was a collection of a group of superstars. They're all superstars who made a sacrifice for this team and understood what their roles were going to be. Most of these guys are the best players on their team, but they didn't. Some of these guys barely played. Jason Tatum, Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, some of these guys, they didn't have the same roles that they would have on their team, but they made sacrifices for the team. And to watch these guys come together in a short period of time, against other teams that play together all year round, and deliver two of the greatest basketball games I've ever seen: the semifinals against Serbia, and then the championship game, gold medal game against France. And I said this on social media, I'll just repeat it. It's not like he needed to cement his legacy anymore, but if he needed to with anyone, as a perhaps Mount Rushmore all-time great, Steph Curry did that. Those shots were unlike anything I've ever seen in watching years of basketball. The last one in particular. And you knew once he let it rip, that it was going to go in over the outstretched arms of Victor Wembanyama. But he has capped just an unbelievable career and will go down, and zero debate, as the greatest shooter that basketball has ever seen. LeBron, I've been the biggest LeBron fan. I mean, I don't like LeBron off the court. On the court, we're never going to see anyone like LeBron James ever again. Not at his age. Not the ultimate competitor, and I think teammate when he gets on teams like that he can be. His buy-in and to something like that gets everybody else to buy in. His leadership qualities, unmatched and just phenomenal to watch. 20 plus years the guy's been playing. Look, I mean, and he looks like he's a spring chicken. It's just remarkable. Just absolutely, you'll never see that again. And then Kevin Durant, for my money, Kevin Durant is just the absolute best scorer that we've ever seen. Absolutely have ever seen. I don't think. Oh, sorry, no way. We're not doing Deion yet. We'll do Deion here in a second. Sorry about that. But Kevin Durant, the best scorer I've ever seen, ever. And he just. My hope is that we get this thing resolved real quickly with the NBA, and Kevin Durant retires there in a Seattle Supersonics jersey. Hey, real quick, Washington Sports Wrap. Big thanks to Alyssa Charleston. I was on the show yesterday. I don't know if you can watch anywhere, Fox 13. I don't know if you'd want to watch it. I'll say this about you TV people, Alyssa and others. Levine, Ian, Egan, all of you. That's hard work. You got to be so fast with what you say. You got like 10 seconds to wrap up your point. I can't do that. It's impossible. And the lights are blaring on you. We're sitting in like these theater chairs. That's not good for someone like me. I need protection in front of me, like a wall. But it was great to jump on Fox 13, Washington Sports Wrap. Go check it out. It's every night there on Fox 13 at 7:30. Alyssa just does an unbelievable job. Alyssa's extremely talented broadcaster, not only TV but radio. She's filled in. I've heard her many, many times filling in there on KJR. She's really, really good. She's just extremely good. And unlike all of us, like a real athlete. Real quickly, news on the Daily Puck Drop. And let me know how you feel about this. You can leave comments in YouTube. You can also email me at puck@pucksports.com. Again, that email, if you want to contact me, puck@pucksports.com, or send it via Twitter at puck2040, or leave a comment on YouTube. Daily Puck Drop starting probably September 9th. So that kind of when we kick off our fall football coverage. We're going to move guys around. Some of our baseball guys, we'll move Bill Kruger around and Brad, because football is going to dominate it. So they're not going anywhere. They'll be here for the end of the Mariners season, but we're just going to shift some things around and fill our NFL guests that are going to be a part of it. Our roundtable for the Cougs, roundtable for the Huskies with Elise and Jordan, our Seahawks roundtable that we're going to do with Tim Booth and Curtis Crabtree. But starting September 9th, the plan I don't want to say it's in, cement yet, but I'm pretty sure it's 95%. I'm like Connor Williams. That the Daily Puck Drop will start going live every day at 10 a.m. So we won't have it recorded, and it won't just be available at 10. It's going to be available at 10, but live. It will stream live on YouTube. It's going to stream live on Twitter, and fingers crossed, I've had a person building this, but we will have a live streaming app for you. So on your phone, just like, I don't know why I'm showing you the phone like you don't know what a phone looks like iHeartRadio or any other app where you stream radio, a live internet stream. We'll have that built for you. You can download it to your phone. You can download it to Apple CarPlay, and you will be able to listen to it live as well. So basically, we have just brought the radio show online for you. Nothing has changed in all the different platforms that will have it live. So we'll have it a live stream on an app for you so you can listen to it. If you're in your car, just walking around, don't want to watch me, and I understand why you wouldn't want to watch me, but we'll also be on YouTube, and also will be on Twitter. And then I think you'll put up on, it'll probably be a Facebook Live and Instagram, but all the different platforms. Tell me what you think. Now, the shows will be recorded and uploaded later in podcast forms. But the plan was always to go live at some point, and I'm excited about it. I missed that live energy. It will include the Daily Puck Drop. It will also include our guest as well. So the idea is to go from about 10 to 11:30, maybe a little bit longer, every single day, and bring you live content, and then have everything podcast up later for you. Some of the interviews we'll have recorded that we'll play within the live show, but that's the plan. Tell me what you think. If you hate it, let me know. If you love it, let me know. If you hate it, don't let me know, because you're gonna hurt my feelings. All right, let's wrap it up with Hey, What the Puck? It's brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle, your restoration company that lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when damages affect your residential or commercial property. You can reach them at 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. Now I'll get to it. Deion Sanders. Mad at the world is Deion Sanders. If you missed this, Deion agitated with reporters in Boulder this week at their preseason kickoff because I don't know. He's just mad. He's mad at the world. In particular, he is mad at CBS. If it plays. At some point.
That's the end of that question, I guess. Next guy.
Eric Christensen with CBS Sports Colorado.
CBS,
Tyler,
I'm not doing nothing with CBS. Next question.
Joe Rigo, Mile
Ain't got nothing to
Sports
do with
Radio.
you. It's above that. Ain't got nothing to do with you. I got love for you. I appreciate you, respect you. Ain't got nothing to do with you. They know what they did.
I'm here in Denver, not national.
You are who you are. CBS is CBS.
All right.
Joe
Ain't got
Rigo,
nothing
Mile
to do with
Sports
you. I respect you. That's why I told you.
respect
Look at you and I as a man. I respect you. I got love for you. But what they
So,
did was foul.
so Deion, apologies for getting that clip late. Deion is upset because CBSSports.com said he's the second worst coach in the Big 12. He's ranked coaches, and then said he's not good. And he went into other reporters. He took offense to a guy. Hey, how are you upgrading your offensive line? And he was like, upgrading? What do you mean upgrading? Like, it was a real confrontational back and forth. There's a columnist in Denver at the Denver Post that he hates, that feels like he's always attacking him. I think a little bit he's showing his true colors. He got off to a great start. He's 3-0. He was, everybody was just like, oh, Deion's the greatest thing in the world. And then reality set in because those teams he beat weren't good. And then they fell apart. They lost their last 6 games of the year, and they were 4-8. And they're a terrible football team. They have 2 players on their team. That's it. His kid and Travis Hunter. That's all they got. And they're probably not going to have a good season this year. And I think he knows that. They had a bunch of coaches leave, too, in the offseason, take different jobs. He's got a reputation of being hard to work with. You had players that were there who didn't like their time there. I mean, I don't think this Deion thing is going to work out, okay? I mean, it looked like it was going to work out initially, and then I think reality set in. And I think he's done after this year. To me, there is no way he is sticking around after Shedeur, his kid, leaves. I don't think that. I feel that strongly. I don't think he'll coach the Colorado Buffaloes anymore. And I think he'll bail. And Colorado made a deal with the devil. They've bent over backwards for him. They've done everything. They've restricted access to people. They've made it the Deion Sanders show because that's what you sign up for. It's the Deion Sanders show. And Rick George is going to probably rue the day. He's never going to really he's not going to stay there. I don't think he's staying there after Shedeur leaves and after Travis Hunter leaves. But they're not going to be a good football team this year. They just aren't. And he's going to have another disappointing season. And we'll see how much that fan base may turn on him. Now the sales have been up and the season ticket holders, all have renewed and it should be good now. But, if they stumble in the Big 12 and for a guy that is as confident as Deion is, boy, he doesn't have thick skin when people come after him. I mean, I know a lot of us don't, but he really doesn't. And he takes great offense if you take any shots at him or call into question. And reporters there were just asking legitimate questions. I think one of them was like, how do you beef up the offensive line? How do you get the offense? And he's like, what do you mean beef up? I don't understand. Why don't you say improve? I mean, it's kind of the same. It's the same thing. He's just an agitated coach right now. He's a defiant coach. I think he's a desperate coach. It's been noted, because I think he understands the writing on the wall. What's going to happen this year for the Buffaloes? I don't think they're going to be good, and he knows they're not going to be good. And the luster for Deion and the shine is wearing off. But Deion Sanders. We'll talk about that with John Canzano this week on the show. But Deion Sanders, 4-8 last season. We'll see what the Buffs can do this year. Hey, another reminder here before we wrap up. Hey, What the Puck and the Daily Puck Drop. August 21st, I'll be on vacation. So leaving next week, August 21st, for a 10-day road trip. So you won't have any content up. We'll have previews up there for the Seahawks, Cougs, and Huskies. So you'll have that. And we'll have the first Jake Dickert show on there as well. So you will have content, but not the Daily Puck Drop will be dark. Here for about 10 days. We'll be on a road trip to Glacier National Park and the world's best van, Goldie. But then we'll be back at it. No show on Labor Day. We'll be back on September, 3rd? September 3rd is a Tuesday. So we'll be back and raring to go for the start of the football season. All right, that is Hey, What the Puck. It's brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle, your restoration company. It's going to take care of you. Any damages to your commercial or residential property, they're gonna be the one-stop shop for you. So make them your first call if any type of damage happens. 206-817-8917. Reach out to Trent, the owner, great guy. He's gonna take care of you. Or visit them online at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. That's it for the Daily Puck Drop. It's in the books here on Tuesday, August 13th. Brad Adam coming up later, talking a little Mariners baseball, the Victor Robles signing. What does he make of that? We'll ask Brad coming up a little bit later there at 1 o'clock. Until then, as always, we promise to be better.
No shirt, no shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah. I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you, but you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for?
We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!